We built a global economy processing trillions of interactions every second. To manage this, the system looks down from a high altitude. From this distance, you aren't a person. You are a logistical data point. To keep the machinery running, these hyper-connected networks rely on statistical averages. They assume your daily commute takes exactly 15 minutes. They assume your utility payments can be managed on a rigid 30-day cycle. This top-down structure strips away human nuance. The complexity of fluctuating income, a family emergency, or a delayed transit line doesn't exist in the model. Your lived reality is categorized into a simple, predictable spreadsheet line item. In the eyes of the macroeconomy, your physical reality ceases to exist. You become a ghost in a ledger. On the ground, the flawless macro view fails. When systemic averages are wrong, we see the immediate physical friction of street-level reality. The corporation doesn't absorb the cost. Your physical community does. You absorb the uncompensated care. You absorb the missed shift. You are the one who falls into the survival gap. This disconnect is caused by systemic latency. The centralized dashboards remain unaware of the local gridlock because they only check the data on lagging schedules, often spaced 90 days apart. The system registers the failure long after the damage has become permanent. By the time the audit finally identifies a problem, it is merely recording a collapse that has already occurred. Relying on these top-down audits ensures that structural help will always arrive too late to save a community in crisis. The solution requires reversing the flow of information. We call this structural reversal the completion layer. Instead of waiting for a quarterly audit, the system directly asks the local edge if its assumption matches your reality. This check happens without tracking your movements, surveilling your behavior, or harvesting your personal data. Instead of transmitting raw personal data, your device evaluates the assumption locally. It generates a pure mathematical proof verifying the systemic assumption is broken, sending an anonymous signal upward. This protocol enforces zero personally identifiable information. All raw data remains locked within your local environment. One broken assumption might be an anomaly, but when those signals aggregate across a geography, a community-wide pattern emerges as undeniable truth. This diagram illustrates a dormant macro circuit, layer 3, positioned above the physical community, waiting to aggregate these anonymous mathematical proofs. The circuit employs decentralized consensus. It calculates the aggregate percentage of local environments reporting the exact same failure in the systemic assumption. When that consensus reaches a specific threshold, it triggers a physical reaction. The macro circuit slams closed, converting the community's experience into an undeniable mathematical fact. Community consensus transforms local pain into a trigger that the overarching system cannot ignore. The moment that circuit closes, it initiates an immediate economic consequence. Structural capital and resources are automatically unlocked. This flow is automated. It bypasses human bureaucracy and circumvents the flawed 90-day latency period of traditional audits. The resources route directly to the source of the problem. They deploy at day 15, curing local gaps at an accelerated pace. Real-time verification ensures that capital arrives exactly when the crisis occurs, rather than waiting for a post-mortem. This verification process also governs how artificial intelligence interacts with our physical world. AI models rely on the same statistical averages we've discussed to make decisions about resource distribution and urban planning. In the completion layer, an AI cannot operate on its own assumptions. It is forced to conform its logic to the mathematical shape of the community's verified ground truth. Your localized truth acts as a physical boundary. Algorithms cannot operate in your geography unless they are strictly bound to the physical reality of the people living there. Reclaim your local reality. When we verify our own truth, we create the stable ground that every other system must build upon.